So now what we're going to do is start to learn about the text tool in Photoshop. So here's our image. And first of all, we're going to go to full screen mode so that we can see this thing without all of the desktop behind us. First thing to do is go over to the T for text tool. We've already got a color chosen and it shows up here. If you click on the image, it will bring the text tool in on its own layer. So what we're going to do now is do a word that represents what we're seeing with the figures in this image. And we're going to use the word helpless. So we've got it set. We can say check, that's our word. We can lock the layer to keep it safe. And now we can start doing all kinds of things to it. So let me show you that we've locked and copied the layer to keep it safe. We're going to unlock the copy. And we're going to think now, how does this text layer look where it is? If we get the move tool and we bring it around somewhere else, does it have more appeal? Maybe so. We can drag it up above the figure, we can drag it down below, it doesn't matter. But somehow what we're trying to do is unite the text and the image in a meaningful way. So, to work on the text, you can double click the T of the layer, and remember this is a copied layer, and that highlights it like a Word document, and then we can go up and change any of the things we want, for example the size or the font, whatever we want. We can also click this little T thing right here and set it up so that it has a shape, a simple shape that might be better for our purposes. So if I did it on Arc, for example, I can then start to do the distortions in any way that I want. If you like it, click OK. And then hit the checkbox, meaning that's it, you like it. Now, lock it, File Save, and then after that, just turn it off and go back to your original text layer, right here. Let's copy it again and see what else we can do with it that will make it more interesting. Unlock it, double click the T to highlight helpless, the word itself, and now let's go in and just do, let's try a bold, like that. No, don't like that either. So we're trying to find the one that we like best. I'll stick with that one and say OK. Now, what happens if I go over to Edit and the Transform menu, I see that some of these things are grayed out. I can't do them. Some of them I can, some of them I can't. So what I'm going to do now with this text layer, I'm going to change it from being a text layer to being a picture layer. And the way you do that is go over to Layer, Rasterize, Type. And if you watch in the Layers palette over here, you'll notice that we've lost the ability to hit the T and rework it. It's now simply its own picture layer. I'm going to lock it, I'm going to copy it, and now I'm going to treat it as if it were a picture instead of a word. I'm going to do an Edit, Transform, or let's do a free transform first. Go outside it to tilt it and move it into position wherever you think it should be. When you like it, hit Enter. Now we can turn off this layer here, the eyeball for that layer. We can lock this layer, copy it, work on the copy by unlocking it, and now what can we do to this that we couldn't do to it when it was a text layer? Well, we can go back to the menu and go to Transform and maybe do a Distort, for example. Now we're able to do different kinds of things to it that weren't available to us when it was a text layer. You can move it into position, you can pull it, do all kinds of things to it to see if you can't make it more meaningful to your image. When you like what you've got, hit Return and then lock your layer. So basically, when you're using the text layer, if you're on a layer, you can double click the T. Whoops, I have to unlock it. Double click the T. It will highlight it and let you change the settings up here. When you've done what you like, click this. If you don't like it, hit this one, which cancels it. And then you're all set to go. So I'm going to click this as if I like it and lock the layer. If I don't want it to be a text layer, I go back to the original layer, copy it, and do layer rasterize type. And that lets me treat the type or the text as a picture layer and do things with it that I could never do before. So what we're trying to do here now is what a graphic designer does. We're trying to join text and image within the format or the picture plane that we have established for ourselves by the size of the file and make it all work together. And that's not an easy job. It takes a lot of work and a lot of looking at your work to see what seems to be the best solution. So there it is.